Gut inflammation is a serious health problem that you may be suffering from. As we look into the future, it's estimated that gastrointestinal cancer is the #1 cancer that many individuals will face. And we have to really figure out how to shut down inflammation in the gut so we can avoid this very serious disease. Hey Wellness Warrior, I'm Dr. Zyrowski, and gut inflammation is a very serious problem that can wreak havoc across your entire body. Many of you are suffering from it, so let's go ahead and talk about the symptoms of gut inflammation so we can identify if it's a problem for you, and then we'll talk about what to do to stop this inflammation in your gut, because we know that when we look at issues like gastrointestinal cancers, it starts with an inflammatory issue. So let's go ahead and dive in. The first symptom to look out for is increased food reactions. So if you're finding yourself starting to react negatively to most foods that you eat, well, this is a good chance that there's an inflammatory issue in your gut. Typically, it's going to be your favorite foods. The foods that you eat all the time now are starting to cause stomach upset, stomach discomfort, pain, gas, bloating, and all the things associated with it. So that's when we want to make sure that we start looking into this problem and taking it seriously. Abdominal bloating is another issue. Your body's not able to break down your food properly, and you're getting a lot of bloating from it. Also, intolerance to sugar and starches. So every time you have sugar and starches, you start to get all kinds of really unpleasant symptoms. And here's the real danger here, okay? The real danger in all of this is that when you have a gastrointestinal problem, it doesn't just stop in the gut, it affects your entire body. So for instance, there's something called a gut-brain axis. And what will happen here is your gut health will have an impact on your brain health. And this is why whenever you have a gut problem, you walk around with brain fog, and you're having poor brain endurance, you can't focus, and your brain just doesn't work correctly. You're finding that your memory goes, but that's not even it. What happens too is if your gut is struggling, it can affect your thyroid, it can affect your liver, it can affect so many different areas of your body. In fact, in many cases, it will even be associated with problems like insulin resistance, okay? So don't think that your gut issue that you're facing right now stops at the gut. You have to also realize that your immune system is mainly located in your gut. So when you have poor gut health, it can cause all kinds of problems in your immune system. This means that maybe your immune system's not working well enough to keep you good and healthy and keep you from getting sick, but also what it means is that your immune system can become dysregulated, meaning that you start to have autoimmune conditions where your immune system is kind of going crazy and starts attacking your body and starts attacking everything, in even your thyroid, in areas of your body which you really need to function well in order to feel well on a daily basis. So we want to avoid autoimmune disease, and we also want to have proper functioning immune system. Let's get back to the symptoms. Now, if you have unpredictable aches and also swelling in the body when you eat, okay? This is something that happens quite a bit. You know, one individual I was working with, they found that they lost inches on their body just by addressing their gut issues because they would constantly maintain so much swelling throughout. You're also going to find things like increased amount of gas and diarrhea. I mean, this is a problem that many people are walking around every single day and they consider it to be normal. It is not normal to have diarrhea every single day. You know, you have to really start looking into this. Increase in constipation and also malnutrition, okay? So if we go back to the constipation, really what we're looking at is you're kind of going from a place of constipation to a place of diarrhea. This is called IBS, irritable bowel syndrome. So we got to watch out for that. And then the malnutrition piece really comes down to when your gut is unhealthy, you're consuming foods. And even if you're consuming the best of foods, what's happening is that you're not breaking down the foods properly. You're not getting the nutrition from the foods that you're consuming. So therefore, you start to have a whole bunch of vitamin deficiencies, which leads, of course, to more health problems. So we can see how important it is to address this gut issue. Now, let's say you're having all these symptoms. We realize it can wreak havoc across our entire body. Now, what do we do about this? So the first thing is, let's talk about diet. So we need to eat this and not that. What we have to focus on is a non-inflammatory diet. This is very important, where we're cutting out sugar, we're cutting out starchy carbs, we're talking about low quality carbohydrates like bagels and pastas and all those types of things. So actually going grain-free would be really helpful for you at this time. So going sugar-free, grain-free. We also want to make sure that we're just lowering our carb intake in general, okay? So these are the types of things that we want to do to start decreasing inflammation in our body. If we want to decrease inflammation, the best tool that you have is following an anti-inflammatory diet. Now, the other thing that you want to do in regards to your diet is that you can start keeping a food journal. And you know how we talked about, well, you start having more food reactions. Whenever you identify food reactions, start pulling those foods out of your diet. So as you start pulling foods out of your diet that you're reactive to, you're less likely to irritate your gut. So keep a food journal and rate how your gut's doing that day. And if everything is good, then you know that the foods that you're consuming is okay. But if you have a lot of reactions that day that are negative, you might say, this dairy needs to be pulled out of my diet. I ate, something healthy like strawberries or maybe even some cabbage and spinach, and that really set my gut ablaze. So we got to pull this out of my diet right now. So you want to start pulling things out of your diet that are not currently serving you. We also want to make sure that we decrease stress in our lifestyle. Okay, this is important because when you have a lot of stress, you have a more acidic gut. And this is why people just from stress alone can actually get ulcers in their stomach. So decreasing stress is very helpful. Doing things like box breathing, some gratitude meditation, also even doing some yoga, some light exercise, really helpful here. Next is take a break. And what I mean by this is that intermittent fasting is very helpful for anyone who's suffering with this type of issue. The reason it works so well is because you're giving your gut a rest. You're giving your gut a break. For that 16-hour fasted period, your gut has an opportunity to heal and recover. So any type of fasting when you have a gut issue is always beneficial. In fact, many people who suffer with chronic gut issues find that the more that they fast, the better that they feel. So start incorporating at least 16 and 8 intermittent fasting and see how that helps your gut. Next thing here is that we want to focus on targeted nutrition. There's very specific nutrients that will help heal the gut lining and lower inflammation. One is going to be glucosamine. Another is going to be deglycerinized licorice root extract. We can also use things like aloe. This is all really, really good for lowering inflammation and healing the gut lining. And what I'll do is I'll put a link in the description below to a formula that we use clinically. It's called GI Repair. This has helped so many people reverse inflammation in their gut and help them feel better. It really works wonders. So definitely give it a try if you're falling into these categories here. So targeted nutrition is very, very beneficial in order to really jumpstart the healing process. Now, the next thing here is time. Gut issues are some of the most complex issues to deal with. In fact, I work with them clinically all the time. And one of the things that's frustrating is that they don't go away quick. So just like this gut issue that you're suffering from has maybe taken years to come on, and maybe you've even been suffering for years, well, it doesn't happen overnight. The healing process will certainly take time. So make sure that you're giving your gut the proper amount of time to heal, and don't, jump into it thinking that you're going to get better overnight, because it will be a process. But this is where it all starts. Using this information will really launch you forward on the path to really good, healthy gut health. So I'm Dr. Nick Zyrowski. Give this video a thumbs up. Also, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so yet. It was a pleasure seeing you, and I'll see you in this video next.